Welcome to the 30-minute ground to standing decompression series. Today for this decompression workout, I'm going to ask you to get a few pieces of equipment before we begin. I've got 3 pieces of equipment that are pretty important. The first is going to be a ground mat for my knees so that I can do groundwork comfortably. So a yoga mat, a soft rug, or some knee pads. The second, I've got a little bit of an elevated step. It's only about 6 or 7 inches off the ground. This can be a foot or 2 feet. Anything from a stack of books to a small surface sidewalk where you can put your hands on. When I'm doing groundwork, I want to give myself this option for my hands, and then when we go to standing, an option to put my foot on. The third piece of equipment you'll see I have the box behind me. This is my high support structure. It's going to be something that is around hip level, maybe even belly level, something I can put my hands on where I can be very tall and comfortable. I like having a surface where I can put my hands on, like a table, a countertop, or even a railing to grab onto, but this can also be a wall that you place your hands on, like this. Before we begin, let's make sure we have those 3 pieces of equipment before we start. Our intention for this 30-minute ground to standing workout is to lengthen and decompress the body. What does that mean? It means in general that after this workout, you should feel better than when we did right now or before we started. Gaining length or creating as much space within your body. Imagine the total mass from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, and we're trying to fill up that space as much as possible. Take up all the room and take up all the space. So any of those sticky spots in our hips, in our backs, knees, anywhere else, have room to breathe. So while we are going through this 30-minute ground to standing decompression, I encourage you to listen to those sticky spots and listen to your body and put yourself in the best position possible to achieve our goal, which is to lengthen, decompress, and create space within the body. We also want to think about our nervous system, so our mind, so our heart. We're trying to take those things and calm it down for 30 minutes. And one of the best ways that we can calm down our nervous system, our mind, our bodies, our hearts, is to breathe and relax. Take our mind's eye and focus on the sensations within our body and slowly breathe and do some gentle movements. Today we're going to begin with 2 minutes of decompression breathing in this sitting position. So right now I've got in a half lotus. You can be in a butterfly, another kind of half or full lotus, crisscross, or even in seiza. Let's find a comfortable sitting position, and then we're going to begin our 30-minute ground to standing decompression. For this 30-minute ground to standing decompression, every single exercise or movement space, movement container that we're going to invite you to, we're going to have 2 minutes of work. So 2 minutes in front of the clock is where we're going to start. Today, we're getting started on breathing, grounding our mind, our body into the most basic mechanical function of inhaling and exhaling our body. Let's get started. Throughout this workout, you'll hear our friendly clock ding. This is really nice because you'll be able to relax and let go and let the timer encourage you to move on to our next piece of work. The first thing I would like you to do is to take your hands and put them on the sides of your ribs, close your eyes, and gently take an inhale into the back of your shoulders, the back of your neck. On your exhale, let's gently pull our core down, pulling the rib cage down, activating our transverse abdominis, a little pelvic floor action. Inhale again, we're feeling the back and the front of our ribs vertically rise up to create space for our spine. And on that exhale, we're compressing the front of the body, getting a little bit taller. Continue to slowly inhale through your nose, gaining more length, and then exhale, grounding yourself. We've got 1 more minute before we go into some groundwork. Take the few remaining seconds to tap into your breath and set an intention for the rest of our movement space today. The very next series that we're going to do is all fours groundwork. And we're going to continue this breath work on all fours. So let's slowly make our way to our mat. I'm going to put my hands in all four positions. You can tuck your toes or keep them flat, but let's get our stacked knees over hips, shoulders over hands. Pitter patter your knees and your hips and your shoulders and make this a very comfortable position. And let's bring the breath back into this series here. Big inhale into the nose, into the back of the neck, back of the shoulders. And big exhale. Gently engage the core, the pelvic floor, and pull your tailbone away from your head. We're looking for length and space, so let's take the back of our neck and pull it long. Inhale and exhale, pull the rib cage down just a little bit. I'm pressing with my hands, pressing with my knees, and finding a really comfortable, spacious, and strong space for my hips, my tailbone, my chest, ribs, neck, knees, shoulder, and hands. Use your breath to lengthen out and create so much space in all of those places. And the next movement space we're going to go into is just some alternating rockers. We're going to move our hips right and left, side to side, super gentle and slow. I'm just going to push my hips to the right, try and feel my glute and my outside hamstring. And then I'll push to the left. This might be a good opportunity to do some QL stretching, some low back stretching. And while we're rocking left to right, think about cleaning out your hips, cleaning out your spine. So incorporating any kind of flexion extension, cat and cow, that makes you feel really good, relaxed. If you want to hang out and pause on one side, please give yourself the option to do that. And we can even rock left and right for more of a child's pose position. Scrunch down. Or even a little bit taller. We're checking in with the hips, having a conversation. Really examining where we feel restricted and compressed today, and where we would like to open up some space. The next movement that we're going to do is a single side rocker hold. Today we're going to start by going into our right side, grounding us in our right hip, our right glute. We're going to make that transition in 10 seconds. So let's start to bring our mind's eye and our awareness to our right side. There's our timer indicating for us to move on. We're going to move our hips just laterally to the right. Notice how I'm starting in this tall kneeling position, hips over knees. I'm going to push over to the right so I can gently feel the outside of my hip. Once I feel that on, I'm gonna slowly pull it back just enough until my glute and hamstring turn on. Then we're gonna press the outside of our ankle, the outside of our shin into the ground, and press on our surface in front of us. Re-engage with your decompression breathing, taking a big inhale through your nose into the back of your body. And then exhale, press through your knee, press through your hip, engage more of the backside. Turn on more of that musculature. Re-inhale and lengthen through that pressure. Big exhale. Right now I've got my glute, hamstring, a little bit of my low back is engaged and working. My hip flexors are relaxed. They're participating, but they're relaxed. My low back is participating, but it's relaxed. If you need to make any adjustments, let's take our right hand to our right hip. And you can tuck your pelvis underneath a little bit to engage some more structure on the back space, or you can extend it. Let's find a really good place and re-engage. Big inhale, big exhale, driving through that right side. If this feels good to you, you can challenge yourself by picking your left knee up, picking your left foot up, and just hovering it in the air as you press through your right side, getting tall, tall, and tall. The next movement that we're going to get into is a pigeon on this right side. So we'll have some time to open up this right hip. Let's kick our left leg back and find a pigeon position. This can be a loaded pigeon where we're holding a structure, a static structure, and breathing. This can also be passive, where we're finding the outside tissue and relaxing as much as we can down. Let's find a really good active stretch through our right hip, right hamstring, and we're going to breathe. Big inhale into the back of your neck, back of your shoulders. Big exhale, and we're gently pressing the outside of our leg, the outside of our hip into the ground. If the front of your hip is tight or feels scrunched, all you have to do is to posture up and give it some space. Inhale, we're getting long through our spine. Think of the top of our head pulling tall. Exhale, grounding our tailbone and our hips into the ground. If you'd like to move gently left and right, give yourself the freedom to organize spine, shoulder, neck. And we're going to do the same sequence on the other side, on our left side. Let's slowly come out of this position, real slow untangle. Return back to a tall kneeling position, hips over knees. And we're going to push our hips to the left. To the left and slightly back until we activate that left glute, left hamstring. Then I'm going to press actively my outside left shin, outside left foot into the ground. Gently engaging the backside. When I engage the backside, that gives me some grounding anchor to breathe and pull some length. I'm inhaling and pulling my head tall, pulling my spine long, compressing the front of my body. Exhaling, pressing through that knee, pressing through that hip, making that head tall. This is your opportunity to challenge yourself and lift up your right knee, right foot off the ground if that feels good. If you made that adjustment, I encourage you to internally rotate that hip and point your right foot out to the right. Big inhale and big exhale. Let's take our left hand, put it on the outside backside of our left hip. If we need to do any little baby pelvic tucking or extending to make our backside, our whole left side feel good, make those adjustments now and continue to breathe. Last 30 seconds before we go into our pigeon position. Again, remember our intention to create space, to create length. Calm it down. Slowly, we're going to kick our right leg out to our right. Reach it back. And we're going to take 2 minutes to settle into some kind of pigeon pose. Take as much time as you need. It's not about doing the exercise right, but using the exercise, the position, and the orientation of our body to find new places to breathe into and to create some space. Your left side and your right side will not feel exactly the same, which means they might need a little bit something different. This is very okay. Once you've settled into your position, let's ground ourselves with our nose. Inhale into the back of our shoulders. Feel your back ribs expand. Big exhale. Trying to get tall on that exhale as well as that inhale. This is the last groundwork movement that we'll do today. After this, we're going to our feet. Big inhale, and slow down that exhale through loose lips through your mouth. Last 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, slowly untangle and make your way to a standing position. Hands are going to be on the object in front of you. Place your feet on the ground. We want heels, outside blade, all 5 toes to gently press into the ground. And squeezing the ground like we're grabbing a little bit of sand. Just activate your feet just a little bit. And we're going to pull our hips back. Take a moment to walk your feet forward or back from your support structure. Walking forward can help you pull upright. This is going to be a little bit more easy. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Find a position that makes it the easiest for you to get the most amount of length today. Wherever we are, let's put our fingertips only on the support structure so that our feet and hips are grounded. Let's take an inhale into the back of our neck, back of our shoulders. Big exhale, press through the hips, press through the feet, get taller. Engaging the core, letting everything come down a little bit. Breathing into the backspace. Big exhale. Let it wash down the front of your body. We're just pressing, engaging back, and getting tall. There's our timer. The next thing that we're going to do is take our hands and we're going to interlace them with our fingertips. We're going to place them at our sternum, our solar plexus. This is where we want to take a big inhale, not into our hands, but into our back. Like a wave is rising up our back. Big inhale. Big exhale, ground yourself in your hips and your glutes. We want gentle activation in the backside glutes, hamstring, and a nice relaxed lower back. If your lower back is turning on a little bit too much, we can take our hands to either side of our hips and gently pull it down. If you need help grounding yourself, you can pull yourself back to your heels a little bit, almost like you're gonna lift your toes. And take that inhale to rise up and get tall. Gently let go of your hands and take all 5 of your fingers to touch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like you're holding an imaginary ball. We're gonna reach this up in front of us. Notice how I'm still pretty upright. If you want to, you can make this into a big hinge, or you can stay upright. We're gonna stay here and create as much length in our spine, hips, shoulders, and neck as possible. Let's inhale through our nose, reach your hands. Big exhale, keep the distance, keep the length that you created. But turn on the core, turn on those glutes, turn on the hamstrings. Beautiful. I'm going to give you 2 options here. Our next space, you can stay with your hands on the tall support structure, or you can join me in a forward fold. I'm going to pull my hips back. Slowly put my hands on the support structure that we have, or with my feet on the ground. We're going to repeat the same process, taking a big inhale into the back of our shoulders, back of our neck, and exhaling. We've got 60 more seconds. Big inhale to the back of the shoulders, back of the body. Big exhale wherever you are. Press through your feet, press through your hips. If you are in a forward fold, I want you to slowly, carefully make your way back to standing. I'm going to curl each vertebrae up one at a time from the strength of my glutes and hamstrings. And the next movement that we're going to do is a single side drop and hold on our right side. Feel free to use the ground or your support structure. We're going to have our hands on our high support, taking a step with our right. Most of my weight is in my back foot now, a little bit of weight light on my right foot. I'm going to get my heel on my support structure. Then I'm slowly going to pull into that right side. As I pull into my right side, I'm looking to pressurize glutes, hamstrings. Those are my main pressure points. Left toes hover in the air. And you can see I'm really relaxed on my forearms right now. I can be relaxed on my forearms, or if I need a little bit of space for the front of my hips and my low back, we can come up to a tall position. Wherever you are, let's take our right hand to the back of our right hip, and I want you to push that hip back just a little bit more. And if it feels good for your ankles, knee, and hip, let it open up to your right. Take your hand to your chest And we're gonna breathe, inhale into the back of our shoulders, back of our ribs. Exhale, press through our right foot, right hip, open up our chest to the right. Big inhale again. We're grounding ourselves in our right hip. If I need to do any pelvic tucking or extending, I can do that. Making sure that my front belly and my back hip are perfectly where I want them so that I can breathe and create space. Slowly make your way back to your mat, both feet standing on the ground. Shake it out for just a moment. We're gonna go back into this right side, so let's go right foot forward, left foot back. I've only got a small amount of distance. It doesn't have to be a big lunge, just a small one. And let's find a good foot placement. My right foot is pointed forward, left foot is pointed forward. I'm gonna pull my right hip back so I can engage my right side. If you need your hand on your support structure, that's super okay. Let's take our hands, one of our hands or both of our hands to our chest, and we're gonna breathe tall, but still ground ourselves in our right side. Notice how my head is kind of floating over my right, where if I wanted to, I can pick up my left toes at any time. Ground yourself in your right hip. If you need to do a little pelvic tucking, big inhale into the back body. Big exhale, compress the front of your body. We're gonna take all 5 fingers holding an imaginary ball. We're gonna reach it up and a little bit to the right. Ground yourself in your right hip. Pull your right hip back, reach through the fingers, breathe into the backspace. Last 30 seconds, big inhale. Big exhale, press. Last breath cycle, big inhale. Huge exhale, get more length on your exhale. Slowly untangle, awesome work. We're gonna do that same on the left side. So we'll slowly take a step with our left foot, hands on my support structure. I've only got 10% of my body weight in my left foot, left hip right now, and I'm slowly gonna feed that pressure from right hip to left hip, pulling my left hip back until the glute turns on, the hamstring turns on, until I could press through my foot and slowly elevate your right. We're gonna pause and breathe. Big inhale, big exhale. Big inhale, slow and controlled exhale through loose lips. Big inhale. Big exhale. Find whatever position is good for you today, even if it is a super relaxed like this. Just putting a little bit of pressure in my left hip and using that to ground myself, to pull my neck, spine a little bit longer. I'm trying to engage the whole left calf, hamstring, glute, lat, left oblique, left neck, left shoulder, and seeing if I can breathe some space into it. Last 10 seconds before we go into our standing left side decompression. Let's slowly step down. And we're gonna find a lunge position with our left foot forward, right foot back, right heel is elevated, left heel's in the ground. Pull your left hip back from a tall standing position, ground yourself in your left side. Once you found that grounding, let's take one of our hands to our chest and find a good position for our chest. Do I need to pull upright to feel better and more connected and longer? Or do I need to come forward a little bit? Wherever you are, let's take that big inhale. Exhale, ground yourself by pressing through the left blade, left foot. We're gently going to take all 5 fingers to touch. Gentle pressure in those fingers to turn on the pecs in front of our shoulders. And we're going to reach that left hip back as our hands come up and gently to the left. I'm going to let my right femur start to rotate in. Pull some length out of the back of my neck. Big inhale. Big exhale. Big inhale. Big exhale. Beautiful work, everyone. Last 20 seconds. Big inhale. Big exhale. Coming to the last 5 seconds. Beautiful. We're going to end this with a standing 2-minute standing decompression meditation. So find a good standing position. Get your feet settled underneath you. Get your hips settled underneath and on top of your feet. Get your shoulders stacked. And arms can be at your side, or maybe one at your chest and one at your belly. And for the remaining 1.5 minutes, let's close our eyes and breathe. Big inhale. And big exhale. Feel the gentle reverberations of all those little positions that we held, and make those micro adjustment movements till you find your perfect standing posture today. Remember that a posture is not static, but a posture is constantly moving. So allow yourself the freedom to pull your hips back and down, side to side, press through the outsides of your feet, pull the back of your neck long. Wow, there's our time. 30-minute ground to standing decompression. This is just one example of a way that you can get yourself from a ground position all the way up to standing and cause some big change within your body. Each time that you come back to a practice like this, you can refine those movements, those positions, and your mental intentions to get more out of those positions, more out of this 30 minutes. Your goal is to feel better after these 30 minutes. So if you feel better than when we first started, great job. If there's anything that came up in terms of tension, irritation, or something that was a little bit knotted in your body, well, you've done a really good job at examining and feeling that. Now for the rest of your day, I want you to move in a way that continues to open up space within your body. Try to avoid any movements today, any positions that will compress and close those spaces in your body. But consciously choose positions places, and intentions so that this work can continue on for the rest of your day. My name is Coach Bam. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a phenomenal day.